Let's talk about what I've been sewing. The Simplicity S9270 and the New Look 6449. I'm going to be giving you my pattern review as well as show you what I have done with these patterns. Let's talk about it. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is T and this is my YouTube channel, Compass T and Sewing. Today we are talking about the Simplicity S9270 and the New Look 6449. I'm not going to be giving a full pattern review of the New Look 6449 because I'm still working on the pattern. I only made one of the garments in this pattern. So you have two different patterns that you have in the New Look 6449, and I made one garment. So I'm only going to be talking about the knit garment and the 6449. With the Simplicity S9270, I am going to give a full pattern review of the top. I have not sewn the pants. This is a wardrobe pattern of sorts where you get a top and a pant pattern. The pant pattern is very, very easy. I don't see anyone being able to have trouble with that because it's just a front and a back pattern piece and you are elasticating your waistline. Very, very simple pattern. But I am going to be giving you a full pattern review of the top, and I'm going to share with you the different versions that I've created with this top. I'm so excited to share with you all the different things that I have made. So let's go ahead and get into today's pattern review. So let's start with the Simplicity S9270. I have been sewing this pattern for a few months and I've made quite a few variations, including 2 tops and 2 dresses. And I want to share with you what I have done to create a dress style out of this top. It is so easy to lengthen your pattern pieces and to create a dress. And because this is such an easy pattern and a loose silhouette, you don't have to do anything in the way of adjustments to like the waistline or the hip line. It offers quite a bit of room of ease. You can size the pattern up or down depending on what size you choose. And speaking of sizes, it comes in 2 groups of sizes ranging from 6 to 24. I selected the size 16 and this was roughly 45 inches for my bust measurement. And I did not have to do any adjustments to this pattern with the exception of a small forward shoulder adjustment. Now, this is something that I have done like on my last garment. You'll see in the 2 tops and 1 dress, I did not make any changes to it. It does go back just a little bit like towards my shoulder line. And the style is a forward shoulder. And since I have sloping shoulders, I decided to go ahead and make that simple adjustment on my last dress. That is the only adjustment that I did with this pattern. Because it has a drop sleeve, those individuals who tend to have bigger biceps that don't fit the commercial pattern, like myself, who have to do bicep adjustments, this is a friendly bicep adjustment pattern. You don't have to do a bicep adjustment if you don't want to. If you average about, I would say anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches bigger than the size that they normally give you for your size. So usually I have to do a bicep adjustment because the circumference of my biceps are about anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches bigger than the pattern sleeve block. I did not have to do that, and I think mainly because it is a drop shoulder. So let's talk about the features of the pattern before I get into what I made. So this pattern features a loose button front top. You have 3 buttons that you're putting on the center of the front of the garment. You don't have a button placket. You do have facings and a collar. You don't have a collar band or anything like that, and you don't have a back facing. You only have a front facing, and you're using your collar in the back as your back facing. And I'll go ahead and insert a clip over this video so you can see what it looks like on the inside of my garment, just in case if you're not familiar with how it's supposed to be constructed without a back facing. It does also have, like I said before, a sleeve, and that sleeve that you're attaching to the garment is a drop sleeve. You have your front, which is cut out twice, and your back, which is cut on fold. You don't have a back yoke or anything like that. And so it's relatively easy and simple to sew. That is all the pattern pieces that you have. It calls for 3 5/8" buttons. I decided to go with a range of buttons. So you'll see on my garment, I have, I think, a 3/4" button. I might even have a 1" button on one of my variations, and then I have a regular standard 5/8" button. So the very first variation that I made, it is with this beautiful navy blue linen cotton blended fabric, and I purchased this from Joann about a year ago. And I had about 1.5 yards of this in my stash. And that's basically how much it took to complete this project. I think a little bit over 1 yard to complete this project here. I didn't do any changes to the first variation, as I mentioned before. It does have that drop sleeve, the forward shoulder, but you'll see on this variation, it doesn't come too much forward on me because I have a sloping shoulder, and I didn't do that sloping shoulder adjustment with that variation. Now, this particular garment, it does bother me just a little bit because it's a linen cotton blend, and I think it's either 60/40 or 70/30 or something like that. The 30% or the 40% being linen, and the 60 or the 70 being cotton. If you are someone who do not like linen fibers, like the feel of it, I would definitely say go with a linen rayon, something that has more rayon than linen. This would probably have a better feel for you. Now this, I was going for a Ralph Lauren creation. I saw this beautiful Ralph Lauren top, and I'll put it here, an image here, on the Ralph Lauren site last year. And I thought, hey, this is very simple, easy. I have fabric that is very similar to this. I want to create a similar style. So that's where the inspiration for this top is coming from. I did use the 3 buttons going down the center of the garment, and I think it's like an icy blue button, and I think those buttons are about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're either 7/8 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch or something like that. The second variation that I made, oh, and I forgot to say that you have 2 different lengths for your sleeve. So you have a 3/4 length sleeve and you have a short sleeve. The 3/4 length sleeve, it looks on the patterns envelope like you're attaching a band, but you're not attaching a band. You just have a very, very wide sleeve cuff that you're creating from the edge of your sleeve. So you're just folding your fabric inward and you're creating a wide band at the lower edge of your sleeve with the fabric. So you're not attaching a band or anything like that. It doesn't call for an extra pattern piece for you to create this band look. So that's what I did for the first top. The second top, I chose this beautiful textured fabric that I purchased from Hobby Lobby about, I don't know, about 5 years ago. So that piece is since long gone, but it's a beautiful mustard colored top. And it's like a gauzy top that is a cotton, and it's kind of like a gauzy jacquard type fabric, and it has quite a bit of texture on it. Absolutely love it. It's absolutely simple, easy. It was easy to make. I, again, went with the buttons going down the center front of the garment. I believe that top has 4 buttons, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it has 3 or 4, but I believe that top has 4 buttons. It is very nice. I love wearing it. I thought that I would be bothered by the texture, but I'm not. It's absolutely stunning. And I used a color button that is like it's like a gradient type marble color button that is brown and cream. And so that's what I did for that garment. And I chose the short sleeve for that variation because I only had enough fabric to do the short sleeve top for that. So let's get into the dresses that I have made. So I decided to lengthen the pattern piece. Now, the first dress that I made a mistake. I wanted to have a dress that was like at the knee or below the knee, just slightly below the knee or slightly like above the knee. I think that one comes about 2, maybe even 2.5 inches above the knee. And so I wasn't going for that look, but it still nonetheless is a beautiful, beautiful dress. I like my dresses to hit just right at my knee or below my knee. And so I was a little bit disappointed that I miscalculated. I believe I lengthened the pattern by 8.5 inches for the first variation. And I chose this beautiful cotton polyester fabric that again was purchased from Hobby Lobby years ago. And it is a chambray. I think it's like a blue color. It's like a slight bluish color, like a sky blue and white stripe fabric. And I love this dress. I absolutely love this dress. One of the reasons why I have been sitting on this fabric for so long is because it's a stripe fabric. And I was really scared that I was going to mess up the matching on the stripes. And so with this, I decided I'm just going to do a vertical stripe dress, and it's a very simple and easy pattern, so I shouldn't have to do too much in the way of matching except for at the shoulder line. And so I was careful to do some matching at the shoulder line, and it turned out very well. I'm very pleased with how it turned out, and I absolutely love this variation. Again, the only adjustment I did to create the dress was lengthen the dress by 8.5 inches. And for reference, I am 4'11" or 5 foot if you want to say I'm 5 foot. And the dress, again, I lengthened the pattern pieces by 8.5 inches. Then lastly, for the Simplicity S9270, I created this beautiful, beautiful linen rayon blended dress. And for this one, instead of lengthening it by 8.5 inches, I lengthened it by 11 inches. And so it has quite a bit more of a drop to it. It hits where I want it to hit. By the way, it has this beautiful shirt tail hem for both dresses that I have made. For the tops, I believe the tops just have a regular squared hem, but the dresses have a shirt tail hem. So I'm really excited about that. It looks very, very nice for a dress style. I also, for this one, I had to include additional buttons as well as the blue variation, the blue dress, because I made a dress. I believe I have 7 buttons on the dress, and then I made a sleeve tab, and I attached the sleeve tab to the side of the sleeve. So I made 3/4 length sleeves for both the blue and the dark mustard color, or I don't know if it's a terracotta or not, but it's a really nice, rich, dark goldish color and goldish orange color, I would say. And for both of those variations, I went ahead and made sleeve tabs for those because it's so easy to do. And because you already have a 3/4 length sleeve that has like this band that's on the bottom of it, that the pattern instructs you how to create like your own band with the fabric that you have on your sleeve. I decided to just go ahead and make a tab for it to make it look more like it's a shirt dress. And so absolutely love that about it. For the blue dress, I decided I had some fabric left over. And so I decided to put some pockets on the breast area of my dress. And so that's what I did for that. And overall, I absolutely enjoyed this pattern. It is so simple and easy to sew. As you can see, like I made 4 different garments with this top, and it was so, so easy to sew. I made all of these tops in the span of about, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. It just took me a long time to get around to the pattern because, as I mentioned in a previous video, I had some health issues and complications. And so I was just like, just sewing at a slow pace, but it did not take very long to actually sew the garments. Like in terms of the time, all the time together, I would say it took about anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks to sew every last one of those garments. It was not hard at all. It was so simple, easy to do it. and absolutely love this pattern. I would definitely recommend this pattern to beginners and advanced beginners alike because it's so simple and easy. You can lengthen the pattern, you can add tabs, you can add pockets, you can add just inseam pockets, you could add breast pockets or pockets to the skirt part of the dress if you decide to make a dress. You could do a shirt tail hem, a squared hem. You can do so much with this. It is so simple. You can even probably add tabs on the shoulder. It's just such an easy pattern, very versatile. You can get very creative with it, and it's simple and easy to make. Now let's go ahead and talk about the new look 6449 real quickly. This is also a very easy pattern. It's been in the sewing community forever, and I am currently in the process of making view C. I did a mock-up. I do need to do a dart manipulation and move the dart down because the dart is sitting a little bit too high. And I also need to do a forward shoulder adjustment, but that's about it. And once I do those two things, I will be ready to go. And I'm thinking about making a denim variation and also a chocolate brown or some type of brown linen variation as well. I'm really in my shirt dress era this year, and you're going to see quite a few shirt dress patterns, um, whether they are like a shift type shirt dress or your classic fit and flare or drop shoulder or whatever. I'm really trying to focus on a lot of shirt dress styles this year because they're simple, easy to sew, and they're very versatile to wear. So that's what I'm focusing on this year. But I did also make view A of this pattern, which is the knit dress. So you have two different variations. You have view A and view B. View A is with the sleeve and view B is without the sleeve. Now view A, it's showing a sleeve with a cuff, and you're supposed to like roll the edge of your fabric over and create a cuff, very similar to the Simplicity S9270. But I did not do that. I decided to just do a very small 5/8 of an inch hem on this, and the fabric that I purchased for this project is from Joann. It was $3 a yard because Joann is finally at my location anyway. Is finally at that sweet spot of deals where they're selling their knits and their denim and stuff for 70 and 80% off. And if you buy the end of the bolt or the rest of the bolt of whatever fabric that's left, you get an additional 50% off. And so this piece here was $3 a yard. So for $6, I got 2 yards. For $6, it's not a bad deal for a knit dress. Very simple, easy to create. Is a royal blue fabric that has these dots going all throughout, these raised little dots, like Swiss dots going throughout the fabric. For this particular variation that I'm wearing, I lengthened the dress and I lengthened it by, I want to say about 6 or 7 inches. So it's well below my knee. It's more of a midi dress. And I created this to go with the blue top of the Simplicity S9270. I don't know, like in my mind, I thought it would go together well. I don't know if I nailed it or not with this one, but because this one's a little bit more textured, and I think that this with the stripe blue probably don't look as well. But I also made one out of a slub rayon fabric as well that was also purchased from Joann, but that piece was purchased from Joann years ago, and I decided to pull it out of my stash and create a dress with that one as well. That one was the first one that I made, and I made a little bit of a mistake with that one, and again miscalculated, and so I had to cut the bottom of the hem because I messed up on the hem. And when I did that, it shortened the skirt, and so the skirt became shorter, which I didn't really like. But that slub rayon fabric seems to go a little bit better with the striped blue top or dress that I made with the Simplicity S9270. I love all these different creations and how they turned out. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of these makes. And if you have made either one of these patterns, if you have, Let me know what your process was like, if you enjoyed it, if you will be sewing it again, or if you even recommend it to sewists. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you all had fun. Please make sure that you like this video if you found it enjoyable, or if it was informational. Go ahead and give me a like, and I can't wait to talk to you all in the next video. Bye.